And we're back with week number 4. We've got Hunter x Hunter is mid as fuck, aka Random Wizard, versus the CTO, mamox45. And I will be sending them the all clear here, and we will go ahead and get started.
Yeah, these week 4 matchups, hitting the halfway point. We've seen what these teams can do. We've seen what these players tend to like. Let's see how they adjust to each other with all this knowledge out there.
This is a pretty interesting start. It looks like both players are interested in sending out a sweeper to maybe do a sneaky sweep right off the start. You've got Mammox with the Dragonite, who is not running weakness policy, which could be a mistake here, especially with how Random Wizard started with the Charizard. But we could see Dragon Dances on both sides. We could see Dragon moves from both sides for the speed tie. Well, let's see what happens, because I think Charizard's faster, and there is a crit on the Outrage. Huge damage. The crit sealing that kill. I mean, you could not ask for a better time for a crit.
Yeah, I'm very curious how the Dragonite would have taken a flat outrage with the multi-scale. Obviously, not enjoying it with its dragon typing. And the biggest thing that I really hate is dragon on dragon violence.
And it's kind of funny too because we're going to see another outrage and it crits a second time in a row. This is unbelievable. I mean, you can't write it up better if you're Random Wizard. Here comes the Breloom, and it's just going to die as well. But the Spore will be able to get on there and put the Charizard to sleep. You do see Meganium though on the side of Random Wizard, so he's just going to swap here. There's no reason to leave him out. You get rid of the confusion, and he goes straight to the Zapdos.
I'm just surprised that third outrage didn't crit.
And even if it did, we did see a Focus Sash there, so it survived at the 1 HP with the 1% with the Focus Sash. And he did get the Sword Stance off on the switch. Good prediction by Mammox, but we're going to see who is faster here, and does Breloom have an ability that can actually hurt the Zapdos, because Mach Punch is not going to do any damage to the Zapdos.
Yeah, mock punching into a flying Pokemon, even with the sword stance, just not going to have a good time.
And I love this switch here into the Umbreon. That is who you want against this Zapdos. I think you're going to see if this Umbreon is toxic, so we're going to probably see a swap to the Registeel. He goes with the Meganium, which is interesting, and there's an immediate swap back to Jirachi, which he usually runs as his main, and he goes with an Iron Head here. I like it, just immediately going for the flinch. He knows he has the speed when he just presses it. And interestingly, the Jirachi has the choice band here, and it is choiced on Ironhead. There's a flinch again. I think you're going to see Random Wizard just, you may just want to leave this thing in, let it die, and then send out the Charizard.
Either that or just go into the Registeel. It's not going to do much. A big part of this, though, with that ban, the Jirachi was able to successfully threaten with the 3-hit here. That first roll, knocking it down to 67, must have been a low roll, with the second one bringing it down to 29.
And there's the Registeel. You see it did crit there. That did a lot of the damage, but the Rocky Helmet on the Registeel is going to be very good. The problem here is, who do you swap to? The Registeel is probably going to be pressing Seismic Toss, so I guess you swap to Umbreon, but that Umbreon does have the Rocky Helmet as well. So the problem is that Umbreon's only attacking move is Toxic, so it can't really threaten the Registeel.
Yeah, I mean, a late rocks out a random wizard there, but a great move in seeing the opening to just kind of get a free rocks out there.
Yeah, it is, and interestingly, though, if he had pressed Seismic Toss, I wonder if the Umbreon would be in kill range. It may have been just short.
And namely, I think the rocks will knock out that Breloom, being that it's at 1%. Obviously, not affecting the Magic Guard Alakazam. Jirachi won't like it, but it's not necessarily bad on it.
So this is a great matchup for Clefable here. There's really not a lot that Alakazam could have that could threaten it outside of just pressing Psychic a few times. Um, So I think we might see something like that.
Yeah, I am glad to see that Mammox is noticing that he has to make these aggressive swaps, similar to the double swap bringing in the Jirachi there in order to try and claw his way back into the game. But
And the,
ooh, that trade is not looking good.
yeah, and the Shadow Ball, I don't like that choice there. You have Psychic. It's not like you're doing anything with um, the other piece. And yeah, like Shadow Ball is good against a decent amount of your Pokemon on your bench. The Jirachi will be faster than this Clefable, but I think you're just going to immediately see Random Wizard swap to the Registeel. He chooses not to and leaves him in, and it will die. Maybe he's choosing this point to win the speed tie. And this is the speed tie possibility because both these Pokemon have the. Oh, and Jirachi wins the tie, flinches the Mew.
Ooh.
Now I think Random Wizard is going to swap. There it is, back to the Registeel. Iron Head again. And you see that 16% damage on the Rocky Helmet. Very powerful.
Yeah, that Mew losing over half, making that Iron Head very scary. Definitely had to make that swap.
And here comes a Wish. And if I'm Mammox, yeah, you got to throw the Protector. He probably knew that was coming. Yep, there's the Aromatherapy, taking advantage of the turn on the Protect, getting rid of the sleep on the Charizard. Remember, it was put to sleep by the Spore. So that was a key turn there for Random Wizard.
Yeah, especially again with those rocks out there, able to kill the 1% Breloom when it enters. No fear now. You can let Snicklefritz just do its thing, and if it dies, it dies.
Yeah, and Seed there is really great too because it allows you to, force out this Umbreon. And the problem is the Umbreon with the Toxic, it really doesn't do much to this Meganium since it's packing Aromatherapy.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if Snicklefritz does throw a status effect out there to try and kick this clock up. But no, going with the Giga Drain.
So I think we're going to see some sort of swap here to the Jirachi, but I think Jirachi is too low to swap into these rocks. Um, so we're going to see what Mammox does here because Umbreon can't kill this Meganium as it currently lies, but Aromatherapy is a move that is a low PP move. So you might see Mammox try to outlast the number of Aromatherapies.
Does Mammox have a rapid spinner?
Mammox does not have a Rapid Spinner on his team, nor a Defogger.
Yeah, the Breloom at this point would be the other option to swap just to get the clean swap into the Alakazam. The question is just if you do that now or if you continue this little wall battle.
And I don't know if Mammox misclicked there or what, but he pressed a second wish when there was already a wish in the sky, so maybe a little bit of a misplay there.
Yeah, the pressure of those two opening crits possibly getting to him.
I don't think, yeah, and there's the forfeit. Just too hard to come back from those two crits there right off the bat. And it's going to send us to the next game. And I think that Mammox is going to maybe try something a little bit different there instead of leading with the Dragonite. He just didn't get much real estate out of it. And not only that, but his Mega Swampert did essentially nothing. So he really needs to go back to the drawing board on how he approaches this next match. And there is the challenge. Pulling it up here, we have the vision or the viewpoint swapped, sending the all clear.
Yeah, very curious to see how Mammox adjusts to this team or if Random Wizard even changes his lead just to keep him guessing.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I think that Registeel was pretty great against Mammox in the previous round. Maybe we'll see him lead with that for some stealth rocks.
Yeah, potentially calling the Swampert out on the lead. But no, this is going to be a risky matchup. Random Wizard's going to want to get that Mega Evolve. to go ahead and remove that rock weakness, and the Swampert will get something into it. Taking that outrage, 72%, pretty big hit.
And there is the Stab Earthquake with super powerful Swampert. That is what he can bring, is just one-shots the Charizard. Love to see that from Mamox's side.
Yeah, his Mega taking a big hit, but removing the Mega from the other side, that's always a good feeling.
And there's a Rock Slide. I think that Random Wizard was expecting Mamox to swap there, or else he would have pressed Giga Drain for sure.
Yeah, I gotta agree that was a call to just go ahead and get the seeds out. Realizing he'll now then swap, going for a double seed.
And of course, Alakazam is who you want to get seeded if you're Mamox. Swaps over to the Clefable. There's the substitute. This will allow him to freely press abilities. I hope he presses Psychic this time instead of Shadow Ball.
Yeah, the Clefable's definitely a difficult wall to get through, but that 42%'s hitting hard.
Yeah, so much better than the previous Shadow Ball that only did something like 27%.
But at this point, being 1 mon up, I'm almost fine with trading the Alakazam to get more damage into that Clefable. Going for a soft boil, you could have just kept clicking attacks.
One crit, and yeah, it gets you that momentum to two-shot the Clefable.
And the Umbreon coming in, being an awkward matchup against the Clefable. Yeah, we're going to see it right here. The Wonder Guard that the Clefable has, same exact thing that Alakazam has, going to protect it from that toxic damage.
Yeah,
The
I think
toxic
this
actually
is
working to keep it safe from any paralysis chances. Not that I'm aware of any. The potential sleep from Breloom.
this is a pretty clear misplay by Mamox, not knowing the fairy typing is great against the dark. Um, he's not going to outrace this Moonblast, so he's going to have to swap here.
Jirachi taking the attack fairly well. We have to remember at this point that it is a physical Jirachi, so that special attack drop will not matter. But I think this is a clear swap back into Mr. Steelio Girl. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mamek should be clicking a U-turn and just try and keep his momentum going. Or are you that afraid of the Clefable where you just have to go for the Iron Head?
He presses Zen Headbutt. I don't really know why you press that. You're now locked into it. You are banded. So we're probably just going to see him swap. That was really weird.
Yeah, I think it was a clear choice between Iron Head to threaten the Clefable or going for a U-turn to keep your momentum. Umbreon taking the Flamethrower well, though. Good little trick getting the Umbreon cleared up, but back to the rotation. Let's see if he chooses something better off his Jirachi this time.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting as well because he also has Trick. I don't think you press Trick here, but you know, we'll see what he does. There's the Iron Head, much better, much better.
Yeah,
See how
I'd
much
be
more
too afraid
damage
of
that
the
did.
swap. I'd be way too afraid of the swap to click the trick here and now. That's going to be much more of a late game move to break one of these walls once he's got more momentum going.
And it's almost like Random Wizard is forgetting about how great Registeel was against this Jirachi.
Yeah, especially with the clapback. Getting the procs off the Rocky Helm, just being able to whittle that Jirachi down, that seemed the cleanest way to kill it.
And there's the Psychic again. Now, Psychic can drop special defense, so that's another thing that could proc for the Alakazam.
I mean, my only thought here is you just keep mashing Psychic. its Pikachu may kill your Alakazam, but then the Dragonite can come back in and revenge kill with an extreme speed.
And no extreme speed, but does have Mach Punch on the Breloom. And he swaps into the Swampert, letting it die. Very interesting there. And he throws a dragon Pokemon into a fairy. I don't know about this. And Random Wizard swaps out for some reason. And Mammox gets off a Dragon Dance. This could be the beginning to the sweep.
Yeah, Random Wizard's team already loosened up by trying to deal with the attacks from that Jirachi and Alakazam. We'll see if Dragonite can clean it up.
And you just see the power of multiscale. That was a hidden power ice there from Zapdos. And it really only did about 35%. There's another outrage into the Registeel. It's going to hurt. And we're going to see a seismic toss here probably. He goes for the Thunder Wave to slow it down. And he pulls it out for the Umbreon because this Umbreon has Heal Bell, so he's going to try to unlock the Dragonite.
Yeah, Mr. Steelio Girl really coming in and showing how it is a true key member of Random Wizard's team there. Both clerics doing their jobs.
You see Alakazam healing up there. The Psychic on the swap. We're going to see another Psychic here. And, this might be his chance to get Clefable down.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised we haven't seen any substitutes to kind of watch the swap. That is a benefit of running it on the Alakazam.
And Mammox swaps for some weird reason. I don't know what he's doing here. He swaps the Umbreon into a Pokemon that not only can't be toxic, but is great against you. What are you doing here, Mammox? You just swapped in another Pokemon that it's great against. I don't understand this.
Yeah, finally getting to the Jirachi.
It's like Mammox there just forgot again that his Jirachi was the matchup he wanted. Random Wizard has not forgotten. And there's the band onto the Mr. Steel Girl, which he should have done a long time ago. And this is going to be good to stop it. But Steel Girl does have an attacking move, and we're going to see it right here.
Yeah, with the Seismic Toss, it won't get a boost off the band. So you get the advantage there, but that's going to take care of Umbreon. It still hits hard.
Too many misplays here by Mammox. I think Random Wizard finally got back to the Registeel where he needed to be. But Mammox has just made too many mistakes.
Yeah, really starting to pay attention to his swap ins the mid to late game. Really brought Random Wizard back into it after losing his Mega off the rip.
It can show you just how fast it can change with momentum. I mean, Charizard is Random Wizard's best Pokemon. Lost it almost immediately and has been able to navigate his way back to a lead here. Just really shows how a team can win you the game, not just single Pokemon.
On that same note, though, Mammox has a lot of power left in his team. He's going to deal some damage, but will it be enough?
So Mammox should have had this Psychic already on this Clefable several turns ago. We're going to see, and there's a special defense drop. Huge there. Huge. That will force Clefable out.
Yeah, Random Wizard choosing to go for the soft boil. I think he needed to push his advantage there and try and remove this Alakazam while he can still tank a hit.
I totally agree. And it looks like Random Wizard is pulling the Clefable here. So Mammix will have an opportunity to press a move, and I think it's still just Psychic.
Yeah, Psychic's your safe move against this entire team.
Yep, and that will kill Zapdos. So now I think we're going to see a clean swap in, and he goes back to the Clefable to get rid of the special defense drop. So that's the move there, but I think right here you have to press Shadow Ball, or at least stab Moonblast. And he goes for the Thunder Wave to try and outspeed on the next turn. Very interesting.
Yeah, the odd thing here is now he's trusting his Mew to kill these last 3 Pokemon.
So there's another Psychic. The Paralysis didn't stop it. Random Wizard is trying to wait for the Paralysis proc and is just going to continue to press Soft Boiled. I mean, it might work, but it's not my favorite strategy. And there's a crit. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This type of strategy is risky. Like, you can't... And there's a Paralysis. It may come back and pay off for him. There's the Shadow Bolt killing him. He was waiting, and luckily he had enough Soft Boil PP.
The Jirachi coming in, looks like an easy Iron Head to just kind of
This is
clean up
crazy.
This game as an option.
Yeah, this is crazy. Mammix might be able to come back here, and whoever that is, please turn your mic off. This Iron... And he presses U-turn! What is Mammix doing? He had the Speed Win with the Iron Head and chooses to pull him out! I don't understand this. This is... Mammix might just throw this match here.
Either that or he's seeing the value of the Jirachi, but the speed tie against the Mew is just scary.
This makes no sense. I'm really confused as what Mammix is trying to do here. Snicklefritz has Bighorn. It is going to heal a lot. You're not going to be able to get a whole lot of momentum with this Dragonite, and now Random Wizard can swap over to Clefable. He chooses not to and chooses to put the Toxic on to try to force him out. I like the move there by Random Wizard. Earthquake is not good into grass Pokemon. Mammix is just not really executing here. He really needs to slow down and just think about what he's doing.
There he goes with Outrage, finally hitting hard.
And this is where you swap to your Clefable. You have him outraged with Toxic and Leech Seed. Just swap to the Clefable. You get a dead Dragonite. He doesn't swap, and it kills him. Oh my god. Come on, people. Know your Pokemon. And the Leech Seed is still there, but because at the end it doesn't proc, there is an outrage into the Mew.
Oh my God.
And here we go, because Jirachi versus Clefable, it will outspeed and kill. This should not be going to a game 3. Here comes
Mammix
the Iron Head.
being forced to see what his proper matchup for this Clefable is.
Just an unbelievable amount of misplays on both sides. But again, in the heat of battle, anything can happen.
And before he doesn't hit Iron Head?
They happen to be switching off on who was making the proper plays versus who was making the mistakes, and it just got down to the wire here. We're going into a game 3.
We are going to game 3 here, and I assure you this is not the Special Olympics, but we will keep going and moving on to game 3. So here we had the view swap. I'm going to go ahead and send the all clear, and I think Random Wizard needs to maybe hold his Charizard here, and you know, because it was pretty powerful, killing 2 Pokemon in the first game.
Yeah, just lead with your Registeel. Trust your Zapdos to defog the rocks if you need to get your Charizard out there later. Keep it in your back pocket.
And Random Wizard going with Charizard again. Now, this one is interesting. We already saw this happen once where the Charizard just straight up outsped the Breloom. However, it does have Focus Sash, so it will survive and will be able to place Spore on the Zard. There is the Spore. It is asleep, and we are back to where we were before. We could see another Swords Dance here from Mammix, but this really didn't work well for you last time. Yeah, this is not going to work.
And Mr. Steelio Girl taking that Rocky helm and saying, I'm just going to throw out rocks. If you switch, you're dead. If you hit me, you're dead. But Bullet Seed, notably, does not trigger a Rocky helm.
Yeah, it just does not matter. You're you're already one Pokemon down. That did not work in the first game. I don't know why you thought it was a good idea to try that again.
Yeah, his solution to the Charizard seemed correct with the Swampert, but I think he's just too afraid to have that big old chunk taken off of his Swampert right off the rip.
Yeah, and this Mew has Giga Drain, so if he will be outsped here, so he's going to have to go ahead and swap Pokemon, or he's going to lose his Swampert.
Good call there. Dragonite re-triggering his multi-scale with the leftovers, only taking 2% from the Giga Drain.
Yeah, very good there by Mamox, and I think we're going to see a Dragon Dance here. So Random Wizard swapping to Snicklefritz to try and land a Toxic. That does not do enough to kill it. He does land the Toxic. I think you're fine with that if you're Mamox. Random Wizard might swap to Registeel here. He did that on a previous one. I just wish that he would swap to his Fairy. And he does go to the Registeel. It hits for a decent amount. The Rocky Helm will pop it, but you can see here that this Dragonite is still quite powerful and could kill it with a good roll. It doesn't kill it, but I think we could see potentially, and he throws a Stealth Rock out. Very interesting there from Random Wizard. I'm not sure about that, and I think that you should have left the Dragonite out there to try to kill this Mr. Steelio girl. Even with the confusion, you just let it full heal. But the Swampert is now in position to start pressing Earthquake, but Zapdos seems like he might just swap to that or the Meganium.
Yeah, the Meganium with the aromatherapy in order to wake the Mr. Steelio Girl up sounds like a good move. But I gotta say, I like the Zapdos. I want to play a little safe. Meganium's already pretty weak. Mammoth's going for a good play in my mind there, getting the substitute
And
off.
I just don't understand this from Random Wizard. Why do you not swap to your Cleric? This is the whole reason you have aromatherapy.
Either that or just go to the Zapdos, play your matchup, and go to the Meganium when the...
Oh, and Mamox calls the swap to the Zapdos, pressing Rock Slide. You can see the non-stab move not doing a whole lot, and this Zapdos is also defensively, built. He is a ground Pokemon. The Thunderbolt will do nothing against this guy. And you saw the stab waterfall doing more damage than the Rock Slide, even though it was super effective.
Yeah, it's a great thing to take note there. Stab really making the work. Boom! Big 61% to its Pikachu.
And we are just watching the power of Mega Swampert. That 150 attack stat is no joke when he Mega Evolves. And he's sitting behind this sub. Snicklefritz will only be able to press Giga Drain here, but it's going to die in the process.
Yeah, I think you got to go to Mew and just try and break the sub. It takes that waterfall pretty well, but ooh, flinches.
The flinch hacks are big there, and you're really in a rough spot here if you're Random Wizard after starting off quite strong. He didn't even get a chance to cleanse, so the Zard is still asleep. We saw this last time. A stab Earthquake will kill this Zard. There's the stab, and it kills the Zard. Unbelievable. Here comes Mr. Cereal Girl. He will kill this as well. And we're going down to Random Wizard's last two Pokemon, and Zapdos and Mew. The Zapdos is already at 37% HP. We could see a waterfall here. We do. It goes to 1. We're going to see a Thunderbolt. It will not work against ground Pokemon. I think that we need to see some sort of roost here, but he doesn't. He goes down,
And here comes the Mew, which should be faster, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And it's not faster. This Mew is built tanky, and that will end it, and Mamox will win this match.
Wow.
Unbelievable
Wow.
finish.
What a game.